Welcome back to Sacred Rhythms. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for coming. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the opening hymn. And the opening hymn is a very important hymn because it sets our whole tone for worship today. And to begin with, let's think a little bit about why we have hymns in worship at all. Now, I know that we have had hymns in worship for thousands of years, but let's look at what the Bible has to say. This is out of Colossians. Colossians 3, verses 16 and 17. It reads, Christ's message in all its richness must live in your hearts. Teach and instruct one another with all wisdom. Sing psalms and hymns and sacred songs. Sing to God with thanksgiving in your heart. That's what it says in Colossians 3. The music that is picked is supposed to help the word of Christ dwell richly in you. Help the word of Christ dwell richly in you. Our hymns are supposed to be about Christ, who he is, and what he has done for us in his crucifixion and resurrection. They're not supposed to be about our feelings. They're supposed to be about what Christ has done. In other words, there's teaching involved here. There's doctrine, and they're supposed to be in our hymns. And we're supposed to sing to God in gratitude for all that he has done to us. We sing hymns to glorify God. And we sing hymns to help keep us focused on God in worship. Now, the opening hymn is supposed to reflect the texts and the prayer of the day picked by the church for this Sunday. You're supposed to pick hymns with the lectionary's texts and prayer of the day right there in front of you. I haven't always done that. In fact, I'll come to that. And the opening hymn is supposed to fit the liturgical season that we're in, like you don't sing Lenten hymns during Advent. In fact, even no matter what kind of great theological reason you've got, you don't sing Advent hymns in Lent. Or, as in my case, Christmas hymns in Lent. One year, it was the first year that I was ordained. It was Lent. And I really wanted people to know that Jesus was born to die. And so for that particular Ash Wednesday when I was 25, 26 years old, we sang It Came Upon a Midnight Clear as our opening hymn to Ash Wednesday worship. Can you believe it? Well, we did. Because I was going to make sure that people knew that Jesus was born to die. All I did was confuse them just terribly. It should fit. The opening hymn should fit with the liturgical season that we're in. And it should fit with the time of day. For example, it doesn't matter how much we love it. We don't sing, Abide with me, fast falls the eventide, as the opening hymn at a morning worship service. And when the pastors are picking an opening hymn, they're supposed to remember what's going on in the wider world when we pick those hymns. For example, I can remember, now this again was my first Mother's Day. I was 25, 26 years old, but all of the texts for that Sunday were judgment texts. And so for the opening hymn, I picked, O Day of Wrath, O Dreadful Day. I picked Dies Irae as the opening hymn on Mother's Day, and the congregation still kept me. The congregation still kept me. Well, you don't want to do that. You want to bear in mind what is likely to be on the mind of your people, not only the text for the day, which that particular Mother's Day, they were all Judgment Day texts. And I think the gospel was the sheep and goats or something. Anyway, all of the texts were just judgment, 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 judgment. And so I picked all of the hymns were judgment, 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 judgment. Of course, it was Mother's Day that day. And I completely forgot about Mother's Day. And the final thing I want to tell you about opening hymns is that many, many, many years ago, your pastors began picking a whole season worth of hymns at a time. Like we would pick all of the hymns for Lent. We would pick all of the hymns for Advent. We would pick them all at the same time. And that also helps you picking a whole bunch of hymns at once. Helps you to keep in mind what you have sung the week before or 2 weeks before, so that you don't sing, which I would tend to do, Holy, 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 or Immortal, Invisible, every single week. We have also learned so much good stuff from our musicians over the years. They can teach everybody a whole lot about the hymns and about music quality and about congregational singing and how it works and how it doesn't work. And Mike and I have been so blessed by the musicians that we have been privileged to work with over the years of our ministry. We have never been more blessed than we are blessed right now with Mrs. Jackie Smith as our musician. She is absolutely wonderful. And we pick the hymns with her. We pick hymns, we have always picked hymns with our musicians, except maybe for during those very first years when the pastor who was preaching was the one who picked the hymns. But we have since learned that it's very, very good idea to pick hymns with your musician. I'll talk to you more about how we pick hymns when we get to the hymn of the day. I love hymns. But for now, it's enough to enjoy the way that the liturgy grounds us in the whole universe. And the opening hymn is part of that grounding. It grounds us in the season of the year that we're in. It grounds us in the Sunday of the year that we're in. The opening hymn just grounds us all the way around. And that's what the liturgy does. It grounds us in the universe. And the opening hymn helps. Thanks a lot for listening, and I will talk with you soon.